Mark, welcome to the Group X podcast. It's good to have you. And now I've got to tell people as well, this is the second time that I've had you on the show, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Me too. Like I was there right back in the beginning, still going strong. So happy to be here and just thrilled to be talking about our topic today.
Love it. So let me ask you this question right from the word go. How did you hear about CoverMe?
You know, a good friend and colleague of mine, John Trahan, who founded the Gym Group, which is an HVLP, so it's a low-cost chain in London. So they've got a few hundred clubs there. He reached out to me and said, look, hey, there's this concept coming. I think you might be a good person who might be able to advise them because you come from group fitness. And I know that once they've done the UK, they want to come to the US. So this is a guy that I really trust. He's an early adopter. He's a first mover. He's the guy actually who in the budget segment was the first to do 100% online sales. So he's that guy. He does things quick and hard. Yeah, so when he says, hey, you might want to take a look at this, I might want to take a look at it. So that was the introduction.
I love that. That's fantastic. So let's dive into the app. Now, I'm pretty sure most of the listeners here, most people watching, I should say, not listeners anymore because we're all on video. I've got to remind myself to keep saying that. Everyone that's watching will know by now here in Aussie what CoverMe is because we've done enough of the marketing around what the actual concept is and how it can be used. For Group X managers, how do you think this app will assist them in their day-to-day running of the business?
Yeah, great question. So, and I say this from experience. Look, I was a GFM, like, goodness, a few moons ago now. It was my first real job out of college or university, so a long time ago. But I put that hat back on, and I was also involved in the very early beta before we took this to market, so it brought everything back. So for a GFM or anyone managing that group, it's like having an admin assistant. It takes away all the mundane tasks that you should not be devoting your precious people developing, member making happy vibes, being the heartbeat of the club, bringing amazing, programming and fitness experiences to people. That's where your focus should be. This app to me I was just like, holy shit, where was this when I was doing that job? Yes. Automating the mundane. So all the things from, oh shit, got to cover a class. Oh crap, got to find instructors for this new format. Oh goodness, how do we get all the certificates and who's up to date in body pump and who's done core and all of these things, and especially in this environment now where everything has to be ticked and all of those things, and especially where I sit in America where you can get sued for that shit. So really it was about automating the mundane, all the things you shouldn't be doing, running payroll, finding people for auditions, and then rewarding staff as well, yes. Or giving people who have flexi time. We had a lot of air stewards back in the day, and they were like, have you got any more classes? This was a way to solve all of those things in a one-stop shop, and I was just like, this is an absolute no-brainer.
Yep. How do you think the app will help with retention and member acquisition?
So when you talk about the members, and if you think about it, that's why we're here. No member, no business, no job, However, it goes the other way as well. No staff, no happy member, and then they don't stay very long. So it's one of those beautiful relationships where happy staff, happy members, and that sort of feeds each other. So how it can help member acquisition, so the acquiring of members and then the keeping of members, the retention side of it, there's a lot of spokes to this if you think about it. So first of all, why do I join a facility? Maybe I join because my friends are there, maybe I'm getting the results I want, maybe I'm having the experiences I like, but it can't just be good today, it's got to be bloody great. So I've got to go back to this place and it's got to magnetise and pull me in, because doing exercise on its own in its rawest form, especially if I'm not feeling great at myself, is hard work, right? So everything's got to be lined up. So it's going to improve member acquisition by, number one, you're going to find and keep the best instructors. Everything from being able to recruit them, being able to keep them happy, being able to give them the most suitable classes when those covers inevitably come up, those sorts of things. So from that point of view, it's professionalising. It's also enabling the pool of talent to increase for the venue, which means they have more opportunity to put up great people, and we know this from managing schedules. There are 6 p.m. teachers and there are mid-morning teachers and there are Sunday evening teachers. And just to get all of those variables managed with the power of technology, I think is a really powerful thing. So better instructors, happier instructors, suited to the best job. So think of it as a matchmaking exercise. All of those reasons, in the end, build brand equity for the venue, for the gym, the club, the studio, the swim school, whatever it is that you're building that brand for. And it just means they're having less of those, those unsavoury moments where people aren't showing up or the wrong person is matched to the wrong class, all of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think you've summed that up exceptionally well with knowing the position that I'm in here in Australia for that app. That what was it, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, whatever it was you were just chatting then, just sums it up to absolute perfection on what it is and how it can actually help retention and also member acquisition. Now, you're based in the US. CoverMe, we've recently just partnered with IdeaFit in the USA. What are your thoughts on the value and the impact that partnership will have on the industry as a whole?
Profound. The reasons being very good friends with both organisations, obviously. So Amy, CEO and co-owner of IdeaFit now. So this is the biggest database coming together, network, community of instructors, personal trainers, managers, executives, all of those people in the fitness space who come together there's the big World Idea, the big event. There are publications, blogs, magazines, education, certifications, hand-holding with all the big associations in the US, so the certifying bodies. And beyond that, Amy's also the chairperson for the WAF, so the World Active Forum. So that's all the industries coming together, all the associations globally coming together and really uniting in getting more people healthy, more people happy. So when you bring those groups of people together, it opens up the database. So now you've got people with a one-stop shop. So this is where I get my learning, my insurance, my discounts off stuff that I need, tools of the trade, my ongoing learning, other opportunities. So by pulling all this stuff in and then all learning from each other as well, it's just the place to be. So it's the database, plus it's technology that's going to streamline my job. I mean, goodness, I was teaching here in the US. By the time you get through onboarding, that can be a 2-week process. Then you've got to go, and then if you fall off the thing, you've got to go through it again. Then your certification gets out of date and you forgot, and then you're not valid. It's just a constant, all of that, bringing together of idea, everything that she has, the database, the learning, the associations, the relationships, bringing it to an app that can streamline so many of those things that have just been a pain in the ass for most of our career, taking them away and sort of having them slip in the background just as like table stakes, rather than who's teaching the 6 o'clock class tonight and have you done payroll yet and we've got an additional on Sunday and no one's turning up. Like all of these just, fighting fires all week long. You're laughing because you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think it's part of the job that I'm glad that the app is going to be helping. I had a conversation with a Group X manager the other day that said, "Oh, Tony, you're just trying to take my job away from me." I said, well, actually, no, I'm trying to help you do your job. What I'm doing is actually taking the admin away from you to free you up to do what I would class as a proper group exercise manager's role. Because if with your time, and if it's 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, whatever a week, is just finding covers, updating a timetable and doing pays, I'm going to say there's a problem with your Group X offering in your gym. So this app is designed to actually do all that, tick all those boxes, make it all streamlined and easy for you as a manager, but also for the instructor that doesn't have to then stress anymore. As an instructor, we come around and go, hey, within 30 seconds, or I think they were saying the other day, it's 23 seconds from the time you actually enter the details in to the time you're actually hitting submit, that it goes out to the network and it's instantaneous. For a Group X instructor, if that was around even back in 2003 when I first started, I'd probably have some hair. I'd probably still be around and doing some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd go one step further and let's not stop the conversation at the fact that instructors are the heartbeat of the club. They are often the vibe and, the reason that people keep coming back. The community builders have been underpaid for decades, so I think, you've kind of got that whole thing coming in as well. But I know that we're going to succeed when the job title shifts from group fitness manager to something else. Chief of group experience.
Yep.
Something more inspirational, where one of the things that you're required to do is to hook up onto this app, get all of that taken care of. Now, let's get down to developing you into our next star so that we can serve our members in new and interesting ways. That is the job.
Yep. No, I totally agree with you on that. Yeah.
This is the Group X podcast.
Hey, what do you think is the most valuable feature in the CoverMe app for both instructor and venue side of things? What do you think is the key?
Oh my goodness. Again, it's such a loaded question because it really depends where your pain is. So, and I speak to different people around this. So for an instructor, I'm an instructor, I want to work, I've worked really hard, I've learned all my choreography, I've been to the courses. I want to be out there. So I want to be able to market myself and put all my credentials and stuff up there. I can even film some videos and stuff. I want to be found because I have some spare time. I love what I do. I have no problems going in and covering other people's classes, honouring that space for them and delighting the members. So as a mini business card, if you like, to meaningful employers or people who can give you work to delight members. So I think there's that aspect of it. The other thing is it's a great filing cabinet. So there I can put up my certifications, my insurance, my body pump certificate, whatever I've got, it's there. It lets me know when I'm due to upgrade or whatever it is. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I hate paperwork. I lose track of time. I think things can happen and all of those things. So that's taken away. And then I have this community where we get rewarded together. So, there's just, for me, the benefits just keep coming. And I just feel, most of all, when I was in the pilot of this, I felt valued. Do you know what I mean? And I felt valued, seen, connected, and then I could see the opportunities. And by the way, I was accepting classes and it literally took a minute or two. Done.
Yeah.
So that's from instructors. From the venue point of view, and this really depends on how your business is structured, but again, you're automating the mundane. You're taking away all the stuff that, frankly, a machine, algorithms and apps can do better. Okay, you shouldn't be sitting in a back office doing all these tasks that we're not well suited to. It chews into our hourly, however many hours we're giving to the club or the business or whatever, and we're taken away from the thing. So we're actually doing the wrong job. We should really either be, offsourcing this to, usually it's someone in the Philippines or something like that. You shouldn't even be doing this stuff. You shouldn't be doing this stuff. You should be doing the high value tasks that push the business forward, fraternizing with other departments, speaking with members, working out where are you going to host the retreat this year and really getting busy in those sorts of projects. Who are our new stars that we're going to take from the front row and how are we going to integrate them? Those sorts of things. Not running around literally dealing with that 9 p.m. call for that 6 a.m. class in the morning.
The amount of SMSs that we've all received as Group X managers late at night or first thing in the morning, I've woken up and I'm sick, and it's like, you are kidding me, aren't you? Yes, the app's not going to find that person 45 minutes before. There's obviously stuff that it's not going to be able to do as we're human and all that kind of stuff. But if you know today that you can't teach tomorrow, this morning you can't teach this afternoon, this app is going to be able to help so many people do so much stuff. So, yeah, you're so right in what you were saying there, Emma. In your experience, being part of so many successful companies, have you seen those that digitize and streamline see commercial benefits? Yes.
Yes is the short answer. But I think what really benefits of this question is think of the big picture. So here we are, and you and I are just old enough to have remembered the completely manual times where we used to have to go to Filex, go to Idea, go to your body pump module. The only way you could have a meeting, train, talk to anyone else was face-to-face, flying somewhere, dropping a few $1,000s and being in the same room. So we were part of that world. Then we went through this whole pre-pandemic, pandemic thing where it became the other world. Everything was digital and in our garage and separated and all of that stuff. The hybrid world, whatever the hell that means. Now we're moving through to this integrated, in fact, and out the other end, which will be mixed reality. So we're really beginning to combine everything. Think of the end game. This is how I always think of life. Look at retail. Okay, so I live here in the US. Clearly everyone pretty much buys Amazon. I know they're trying to break up big tech right now, but pretty much everyone has an Amazon box arriving about once a day, which can be anything from groceries, the toilet brush, whatever, clothes, anything you want. So you kind of think of retail. but then you'll travel to Italy and you will want to buy in a real store that Italian jacket, and then you'll be somewhere else and you'll want to buy in a different way. Same with fitness. So we're just going to wander through our lives. At this point, it's with our phone. So this is sort of the focal point. I walk through my life having the experiences I want that are sometimes real in real life. Sometimes they're going to be this, and sometimes they're going to be a bit of both. So I think if we can just appreciate that the end game is it's going to be all of it. And if you don't have a digital presence, you're missing out on a large piece of that ecosystem. We hear of brands like Les Mills and, really trying to talk about omni-channel or in all ways, multi-channel, so you can walk through your life and then the right impetus can come in at the right time, be it digital, be it live, or be it a bit of both. So successes I've seen is literally my Les Mills journey. We went from just face-to-face to needing to digitize to get to over 100 countries. Now we're seeing us step into meta. So now we have the real world, another world, and then maybe augmented world where you've got artifacts coming in on that. So that's the way that it goes, face-to-face all the way through to completely integrated. So the success of this, it's what I'm really trying to say is it's going to be table stakes to a point. So I still have people arguing that technology's a thing. It's like arguing that the television's coming or not. It's like arguing internet's coming or not. You just kind of got to say it's here, and we're now in what we're calling the fourth revolution, which means technology is accelerating. So not only is technology definitely here, it's now accelerating. And if you're not on any of those accelerants, you're going to get left behind. You're just going to be doing manual work in a digital world. And we're already seeing this in the shifting business models, the aggregators, the low-cost chains. They've just been able to dial everything down, automate everything in the back office, and just do the mission-critical stuff up front. So, I've seen many fit tech brands become successful. Les Mills obviously is successful going through that whole thing. Wearables integrating with technology, aggregating all that wearables data into something that's meaningful for me, the health customer. So we're in the mucky bit in the middle where it's all a bit messy. This doesn't quite talk to that and that doesn't talk to that. But in the end, it will contribute to the successful future. So I know it's a slightly long-winded answer, but this is one such tool that is on the journey to this more streamlined, professional world of fitness and world, the greater world, right, of lifestyle and just how we are living now and in the future. Yeah.
On that, what would you say to people that are sitting on the fence and waiting to get started?
Really, you're going to ask the girl who's fire, be explosive. You're going to ask me a stupid question like that. Look, if you're sitting on the fence, look, there's two types of people in the world, right? You and I go for a run, right? We're jogging around the block. You find a bicycle, okay, in the gutter, right? You pick it up and you start riding off. That literally is the analogy of what technology does.
Yep.
So, and it's got to be good tools. Not every tool, and everyone's like, oh, technology, that we've got this fear around technology, and then we've got an even bigger fear around migration, which is sometimes going from one tech platform to another. None of these things exist with CoverMe because it's an app. It speaks to the other technologies, and the CoverMe team does that migration. Now, the migration typically in our world, and you know this, you'll be feeling it in Australia, I'm feeling it in the US. It's WhatsApp groups, it's Facebook groups, it's emails, it's messages. That's it was new like 10 years ago, not now. It's an old technology that's quite binary. And what I mean by that is someone's got to answer, someone else has got to answer back. It's not going, here's what's required, here's the people that could be up for, who's in first, let's go, great, let's click it all. This has been changed, that's been changed, you're going to be paid for that, you're the one, this is the rules, let's go. So that's what I would say about that is don't get left in the past because we've never seen so much change. That's why everything feels like a washing machine right now. I urge you to jump on this. Yep. And if you don't, the next time you're covering a class, drafting up an email, trying to find that 6 a.m. instructor at 9 p.m., every time that happens to you, I want you to think of me, I want you to think of Tony, and I want you to think of CoverMe. And then tomorrow at 9 a.m., I want you to pick up the phone and call us and solve that problem forever.
So true. I love that. That's probably the best way to actually answer that question as well. And I love the fact that I was able to ask you that question because knowing that the answer was going to be an interesting one. So Emma, thank you on that. Hey, let's finish it up here. Do you have any any parting words of wisdom for anyone that's watching here today?
Just don't lose sight of what the true horizon is. I got into this business, you were probably the same. We got in this business to change lives. Now, changing lives doesn't happen sitting behind a desk, running around being other people's PAs and doing stuff that doesn't have a really human, poignant moment. So try and get in front of people, and then that's where the work is. The work is, where as an industry can we take this as instructors and inspirers and developers and trainers and personal trainers and swim coaches and masseuses, all the things that are bookable that make up a really wonderful, rich life. How can we come and have that human contact, eye contact? How can we take that out there? And really, I just think we're only at the beginning of understanding how far we can take fitness experiences. I look back and obviously being involved with Les Mills for a long time, I don't think we've changed that much, and I think there's so many more things we could explore, but they don't happen behind the desk doing the job I was doing over 30 years ago. Stop doing the job I was doing over 30 years ago. That would be my final message. Love it.
Emma, thank you so much for coming on to the Group X podcast and talking to me about CoverMe, the new venture for me and also for you over there in the US. I've greatly appreciated your time.